Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode from TCG 353. I am Jamie. Today we are playing Red Black Koby, who in my opinion is the truest black deck, even though it's red-black, in the meta at the moment because your removal is so consistent. Let's talk about the games and the matchups. We've got banger games for you today, so if you like the video, leave a like. If you want to subscribe, I will not say no. Without further ado, let's go into our first game against the big bad. Purple Enel plays out Pudding Start, doesn't get a card to draw, which is great for us. Obviously, we prey on Enel's demise as often as possible. We get a Search Off immediately, pull a Ripper and a Kujaku. The reason we took the Kujaku there is because it allows us to use the Kujaku to trash the Kujaku, which is pretty handy. Our opponent has now set up their board. They're going to swing 6 of the 7 into us. We'll use 2k for the 6. And we'll take that 7. That's no bother at all. Get out an A-cost Smoker, who we are running 2 of in this deck. Notice there, by the way, we didn't swing into the body because there would be no point because they have a board established already. So if it was just a Pudding there, I probably would have swung into it, but there was no need to do so. Played out Kujaku, and as you know, we trashed our own Kujaku and we drew into a Helmeppo, I believe. A Helmeppo and I think another Helmeppo. So our hand is actually looking pretty good now. We're set up for our next turn anyway because we have the Helmeppo into the Koby turn, which is really, really nice. Our opponent swings 6 into our life, and 6 we take 1, counter the other. Swing 5 into their Shora because we want to get the draw off with our Koby. We could have turned one of our bodies sideways there, of course, but we didn't. The reason we didn't do that is because their Enel would just swing into it quite easily and we'd lose our board advantage. So here we go. We have used, in that turn there, we used no swingers on our board, as you know, to keep it up. Our opponent uses an L-Tor and a Divine Departure to KO the Kujaku, but we have our leader ability online, so we just give 3 cards from trash. They use a Mamaragan now and get that Kujaku off the board, which is, in my opinion, a bit overkill. It's not that valuable of a card. Our opponent swings 7, 7 and 10, and we take the 10, we counter the rest. We are now looking to get rid of that Enel off the board. So we play out the Hibari. The Hibari, the reason we're playing that out actually is because we will be able to remove everything from the board with the use of that Hibari, because Hibari allows us to attack active characters, which is huge for us because the Enel now can only swing once next turn, and we have a blocker on board to negate that. If they want to use Mamaragan on that blocker, they can, but the blocker will turn up sideways next turn anyway. So we're actually in a very, very good spot in terms of the board and everything. We also have counter in hand. We have 5k counter with that 1k event that will bring us back 2k counter, which by the way is a really, really good card in this deck. I know it's only 3k counter, but it being 1k and 2k allows you to get out of a lot of messy situations. We'll give him 2k for that, definitely, because we want to stay at 1 life. Enel has a lot of lethal potential with Mamaragan, so we're not going to bother with it. We play the Kujaku and trash out a brick. The Helmeppo comes back up, we draw 2, and we draw into another doll. See, now that they rested our Hibari, we could have a really cool doll play this turn, potentially. If we had the Hibari up, and we'd be able to swing into their active characters, but unfortunately don't have that chance. We'll swing 7 first. Our opponent takes, we'll swing 7 again. And 11. It would have been smarter here in hindsight to swing 11 or 9 and 9, but it doesn't work out that way, which is fine. We're kind of eyeing it up to play out a Ripper and a 1-cost event, but since we just drew into another 1-cost event, we may well just leave everything up. Yep. Now, even if our opponent did want to go all in into us and maybe rest something and attach their Don in such a way that an L can, we'd actually have enough counter, so we'd be totally fine. We're in a very good spot here, only 1 brick in hand. So they're probably thinking of what to do now. It's even hard for them to swing into our character's mind because, well, we have a blocker up, which they Mamorag in there, fair enough. We have a blocker up and the Kujaku is adding 2k onto everything. So even the Hibari is kind of difficult for them to swing into unless they want to turn that Reiju sideways. And if they do, we'll have a fairly good chance at lethal. I'd imagine our opponent's trying to search out like a Shora to get an easy KO on the doll and maybe sustain themselves into the next turn. It's kind of hard to know at this stage. They attach 2 Don onto the Reiju and they aim to swing 9 and 9 to get the finish. They do get the Shore out eventually, which is good for them. So it's actually a 5-5 and a 9 that they choose to go rather than the 9 and 9. You see the power of that one cost event there. They swing 2 5s at us and we use the event and pull back 2 2Ks from hand. So now there's nothing really they can do. They decide to leave the Reiju standing, which is fine enough. Yeah, that's no problem really. With the Hibari effect, we can allow a character to attack active characters, so we can actually KO 2 of their bodies off the board as well and probably set up a Ripper, or we can play out another doll over a doll and attach or allow one of our characters to attack active characters and just take the Reiju off the board as well. So like the game is kind of in our hands at this stage without speaking too early, of course. Considering swinging into one of their characters just to get the draw off, but I think if we keep swinging into their life, we will eventually be able to get this Reiju off the board. So we're going to swing 10 into the 6 now. With the Hibari, by the way, you can minus 1k power. We're into another 2k, so our hand is yet again very strong. We have 4 Don up in case we do want to use the another doll and play over the Hibari possibly, but we say no thanks and we'll just go 10k here. Like the best they could probably do next turn would be 9 and something. They do get the 4 cost, which rips 2 cards out of our hand, which is good for them. They get a Mamorag to rest one of our blockers. If they have another Mamorag in, we're still fine actually because we have so much counter, but it would be good for them, I guess. I think they're just looking now to see if they can draw into something like an Altor to KO that Ripper. And they do, but my leader effect will protect it. So it's difficult for our opponent in this situation, that's for sure. And we'll just use our leader effect, 6 around, and we were fine anyway. Like we have so much counter, we could have blocked out of 8 and 6. Well, of course we can get out of 6, that's easy. And we'll just do that there now. And we'll take the last one just for the fun of it, pulled another 2k, and we would have got game next because they are totally 100% bricked up. Good game to our opponent. I think we just had a really good string of events. We took out their Enel early and they didn't really have space to play it later on, I don't think. So good game, but like that is a really good showing in the deck, right? Because we were able, as I said at the start of the video, to remove things consistently like a black deck does. So let's talk about this blue-yellow Nami game now. We search out a doll for the start. They have a girl on the board, which is like a Nami's dream, but the greatest thing about this deck is you can attack active characters with Hibari, and Hibari is in our hand. You also notice there we had the Koby on board, our Koby in hand, so we would have been able to remove it eventually anyway, so all one. We just get a lot of Hibaris in this game, which is a great thing. You see 3 Hibaris on board now, which means we can minus 3k to anybody that they play on board, so you know we're going to start using that. Yeah, on one hand, maybe you shouldn't swing into the Nami, but like in a situation like this, I feel anyway that if your opposing player has more than 2 life, then give it a go, because they can't get the Borsine off, which is in my opinion the best target for Nami. Our opponent makes a blunder there, thinking that they can Gravity Blade our bodies. They can't, of course, so they don't. Is this a little blunder here? Do I remember this? Yeah, I remember this, right. We should have played out the Koby first here, just to get the draw off, but I really didn't expect them to take the block so early. So that was an error on my part, and because of that then we actually went a different line, which is to just stack up our hand with Kujaku and with a Searcher as well. So 2 Don up for the rest of it. We're just leaving 2 Don in hand so that we can swing a lot of sevens. Our opponent just decides to take a lot. I think they're really hoping for a trigger, but unfortunately for them, they don't get one. Very fortunate for us, by the way. They play a Borsellino on this turn here, and you'd imagine they're going to attach 4 down onto the lead and swing 9. To that, we will use a blocker 100%. If they try and get rid of one of our bodies, we'll block that as well. So, yeah, they did exactly that, which is all well and good. And we'll start the Hibari train again. Swing 5 into their leader, just asking them to trash that 1 card, so they become 7k. And now that they've done that, we'll swing our 7k, but eventually we're going to swing into that Borsellino. So they can, if they want, they can use the Borsellino as a blocker just to get the value out of it, but if not, I'll just swing into it, and that's what I did. Probably got the sequencing wrong here. Just to take the Borsellino off early would have been probably the better play. They get out a Robin, and they have 3 down left. I presume the 3 down's going on lead. Robin trashes life and heals. We give them counter for that, so we're actually still pretty healthy at 2 life. The reason actually we countered there is because we want to remove this Robin. Like, maybe removing Robin isn't normally the thing to do, but our board is so strong that we want to keep that advantage up. So us losing 1 life for getting rid of their Robin is worth it, and also we draw cards from removing life, so it's like it just is worth it, really. Do we attach? Do we not attach? I think attaching 1 down could be wise, just to get the cards out of hand, and that's what we do. We have our two events in hand as well, so we can pretty happily defend our bodies well. They'll swing 10 into us or into our body. Yeah, they'll swing 10 into us, and I actually believe we'll give them counter for that because we can, and I think it's smarter. Also, getting the Koby into trash will allow us to use Helmeppo fairly easily, which is good. So now what we have is more Hibari stuff. I tell you, getting all these Hibaris out changed the game for us totally. We swing 5 first, and they trash a card to get it set in life. We have to swing a Hibari first so we can attack active characters, and they get a trigger finally for them actually, and that trigger freezes our Koby, so our lethal isn't as good this turn. And we also used all the minus power effects of our Hibari, so we'll be just swinging raw into the Perona. Play with the doll just to get the Perona down in life. Swing 7 at their leader, and then swing 5 into that -1. Them getting the trigger effect doesn't do much for us now, for them now rather, and we have a blocker set up as well. So still in quite a good spot. We're just going to take that free block instantly, which is the right thing to do. Get another event off, which is handy, and we have another doll to come out as well. It might be a bit overkill to just be using the power reduction, so we don't bother, and now we'll just start tapping into their life to see what they trash. They become 7k now, so we'll just start pinging them with 7s. It goes 7 and then a few more. We'll swing a 7 into their life again here, and they're probably incentivized to take this. I think they'll want to take this, yeah. No, my Koby couldn't attack anyway because they triggered out the Perona. So maybe I should have put more down onto that and just been a bit more aggressive with that attack. But what can you do? They swing 7 at us, we'll take that block. They swing 7 at us, we will use our event. 1k and 2k, that's easy for us. And now we have the option of a doll again, which we will actually use. Deciding on what to get rid of, a 2k or 1k, we decide to get rid of the 1k. Some more Hibari fun is going to come up here. So our leader can attack active characters, so we just attach 7 to see if they give us counter or not. They don't, they probably don't have it. We'll swing 7 at their Perona. We could have, in all fairness, just kept swinging with bodies faster, just so that they couldn't freeze something, but we weren't too mad about not swinging into them this turn because like they're 3 cards in hand. It seems like we're actually in a very good spot for the endgame. So that was the logic there, really. They used the Hiyori just, I think, to get the draw, probably set something up in life, but I don't know if that's going to come up relevant anytime soon. We'll take the block there again, and we pull into our fourth event, which is actually really useful. And now we're just going to start testing the waters and see what way it goes with counter. Our opponent takes the last life, and it's a question of whether we want to split down or whether we want to go all in. Swinging 5 is always the best way to start because they have to give us one card at least. So that's what we're going to do. Also, we have the option to live again next turn, so like that is something as well. And then just swing 7 here and see what happens. They have counter for it, that's fine. And like I think what they could do here is like 7 and 8, and we have enough counter for it, so we were pretty comfortable last turn, getting rid of the Perona and just being safe. I've sped this up, I think triple speed this game's at. It really went on a long time, and we both had a lot to do and say. They played a Sanyan block, but I didn't really get it, so what I did is I just gave them all the counter to show that I had it, and like the next turn was going to be our game anyway. They had 2k counter, that's all. So yeah, go game 2. Our opponent, it just went on very long. I was aware of that as well, but the game plan for me was to just keep removing their board and building our own board, and like making sure we could stay online. Having the dolls in hand was so useful, especially to get rid of that new gate. So good game to our opponent. We just we were able to stay dominant in board control. Another thing, this deck does great. Like I think every turn we KO'd one of their characters. So yep, that was a good game. Let's talk with this next game now against Red Blue Lucy. Gets a Barry pistol off the top. We just have to build up our trash to 3, and then that Barry pistol kind of does nothing, which is pretty good. And we go into the event here, which is very useful. Choose to go for a Ripper here. We already have a Hibari in hand, and our 6th down play is going to be the Helmeppo into Koby, so we don't really have space for the Hibari at the moment. Have the choice to swing into the Viola there, and could, to be fair, we actually could. It's just we don't really want to turn the Hibari side of it just yet because we'd lose it. That's the reason. Now, they do have a Hibari pistol in hand, but we have our leader ability online, so there's no real point for them to do that. So I'd imagine they'll just use one of the mementos, and there you go. Opponent doesn't know how Koby works. We were fortunate as well to get that 1-cost searcher that trashes 3, so we set up with trash last turn. It's going to be a Helmeppo Koby turn, 100%. Swing 5. They take and they counter, and here we go. We have the big bad boys out. It would have been maybe better to play Helmeppo first, then Koby, and then used the Hibari effect to swing into the Viola just to get a card drawn, so we're not negative card. So we're not down too many cards in hand due to Helmeppo and Koby. But look, we didn't do that, and it's just a difference of 1 card. We are actually still in quite a strong spot with the state of our board at the moment. Now here, we actually don't have enough enough cards in trash for this Barry pistol, so they're able to get a Barry pistol off. Fair play, happy days for them, not so great for us. They swing 5 into us, we'll take that. We actually pull into a doll, so there is a pretty nice line here. Rather than using the 8-cost rush, we could go doll into Kujaku to, I think maybe stay neutral in hand size. What we're doing here is we're just peppering with little swings, hopefully that they'll turn that Sabo sideways, and we'd be able then to swing into it. Unfortunately we're not able to do that, but we do draw some nice cards like this Koby, who we do want to play because it is very valuable actually for this deck. No point in swinging our Koby at the end there because they just get the block off, and then we'd be making our Koby vulnerable for next turn. We are now on, each character is 9k thanks to Kujaku, so it's a bit difficult for them to Fire Fist everything to spare it. They'd have to Fire Fist a baby Fire Fist, or they'd Fire Fist and swing with Viola, and we'd actually just, I'd give them 2k for that if they chose to swing into the Helmeppo, for example. So that's the state of play at the moment. They played a Rebecca to search. They search a search event. They use that search event to search something else. I'll tell you there now in a second when I find out. And yeah, this video is recording. I was just double checking. Yeah, I'm still not sure what they search there, but I presume it's going to want to be a Sabo. If it's not going to be a Sabo, then maybe it'll be a memorial sort of event. Okay, they have the Sabo here. They play the Memento and trash Cavendish to draw Cavendish and then draw 2, and they have leader ability as well. So their hand size is, to be honest, for a Lucy deck, it actually is quite small. We make a blunder there. It's KO's 3000 base power, not 3000 power. So we played out that doll, not for nothing to be fair, but maybe there was a better line to make there. Like for example, we drew into a Koby, so obviously playing out a Koby would have been nicer. But look, you play the cards you're dealt. We could even consider playing out another doll, and minusing both Sabos so that we can just go super aggressive into life. These are things to consider. I think anyway that they were very lucky to get the Hibari off from Barry Pistol, because in this situation here we actually would have been able to attack into this active Sabo and get rid of it quite easily, and having 2 dolls in hand would have been very strong then. So now we're just, as you know, peppering them down, swinging swings. We have the option of going 9 and 8, which doesn't really make sense, so we just go 12 and either force them to take this or to give us counter if they have it with the block. If they have a Goldie Roger, we're fine, actually really fine, because we'd have counter for it, and I think our opponent's kind of aware of that, so they consider how they can go for legal here, and they're thinking about it. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9k counter in hand and 2 life. So this 7k here is going to get 2 and a 1. We also still have the blocker, by the way, so bear that in mind. So they're attaching 3 on here, and if we take the block, then which we will 100%. The reason we're taking the block here is because if they have like a baby Fire Fist they just pulled into, then that will be really frustrating. So let's not even, play around with that chance. They could go like 9, 9 and 12, or they could use Sabo or the Lucy ability to maybe get like 3k power, 4k power from hand. And so we could possibly be looking at 3 9 swings, and them having the ability to split like 2, 2 and 1, or 2, 2 and 3, so 11, 11, 12, something like that, possibly. But we'd have enough counter for a 12 or an 11. So we're just going to take here, which maybe was a little bit of a light blunder, especially that we start drawing into bricks from life. Like, we don't know exactly how many events they have in hand as Lucy, so if they had 5 events, like, it would be right for us to be scared here. They swing 10 with that Sabo and we will counter out. And now as their Lucy, they're just going to trash all the events they have in hand to make a big swing. We have 3k counter in hand with the possibility of pulling into 1k or a 2k or another brick, which is very much possible. They swing 6, and let's see how many events they have. 2 events we can't counter out of it, by the way. So yeah, it's a 9k, which is kind of nuts, but I don't know how they're going to get the finish here. And I actually completely forgot while I was playing this. I got a fright because I completely forgot that Viola could swing. That was the Viola we didn't swing into at the start, by the way. We swing 13. I don't know why 13. It just seemed like a good number to swing. And we just had enough counter to get out of that Viola swing at the end. So it actually came down right to it, even though we were in a much more dominant position. At the start, maybe we could have saved their block or something like that, but no, it was smart the way we played it. It's just that it did come right down to the wire with the amount of counter we had in hand at the end. Our opponent now, our final opponent for the video, hope you're enjoying it. If you are, there's a like button and all that sort of stuff. This is up against Black Croc. they play out Miss Valentine, I think. Miss Valentine, and we play out a 1-cost searcher event, and we draw the Smoker and Tashigi 8-cost rush. That makes us 7k, which is quite useful. They use a Golden Week and Trash that to draw 2 Trash 2, filter out their trash and filter out their hand, build their trash and filter out their hand. Forward on turn for us, could go 6 in Hibari, but I think just building up trash is really, or building your hand size with Kujaku is really nice, so we'll trash that Hibari. Hibari isn't too useful in this matchup because like there's a lot of Bonclays, and also we can't really swing into the Crocodiles in the late game either. All that is true, and also we have another Hibari, so it's not like it's terrible in this matchup because you can still get rid of the Mr. 2 Gem, and you can still get rid of Daz Bones. They swing 5 into us, they'll probably crack this here now. But that doesn't matter too much because with Kujaku's ability, it makes it very difficult to swing into. So they leave the Daz Bones standing. We'll play a Helmeppo out. We used the Koby for a counter last turn anyway, so it is actually set up. We consider for a second to use the Kujaku and probably set up like a blocker or something, but we don't bother. The reason for that is because we think it would be wise to just to get these 2 big bodies on board, especially get that draw engine online with Koby as well, because they are going to start turning bodies sideways eventually. Now they have all Sunday play out Bonkyori, and rather than using the Searcher and Trash, I don't know if they had one actually, but if they had a Searcher and Trash, they didn't use it. They pull out a Miss Wednesday, and they have not yet used Miss Wednesday's ability. If they did anyway, I'd just give them counter for it, so it's all well and good. 8 on turn now, so we have options. We can use a doll and trash a card and get and use a Barry and actually just start swinging into their active characters and clear out their board, which is what we do. There was a play to obviously play the Smoker and Tashigi and be more defensive that way, but we don't bother. We just say let's get rid of their board because they're going to have pretty good board presence fairly soon with their characters. So let's not play around with that. Because they didn't crack the 1-cost 2k, then for us it's kind of not important but quite easy for us to get rid of that now. Like, it just makes sense, so let's do that. We'll swing 7 into the 2k, we get that, and we could swing 8 into 6, or we can swing 8 into 1, and we go and swing 8 into 1 instead, just to guarantee to get rid of it. That's going to help them a lot the next turn to actually get stuff off the board. We don't swing with the Kujaku, which may have been a bit of an error, but we do want to keep that +2 power online, so that would be sort of the reason we did that. We give them counter there because it's most likely that they're going to want to swing with the Daz Bones like a 6 or a 7. So we were willing to take that, but we had the blocker there, so we said we'd use it, especially that we have a Ripper in hand as well. It's a bit more useful as a blocker next turn once we burn the doll face, because if we didn't, then we'd have to play over something that has like power. So we're just kind of thinking on how we're going to spread out Don here now. We swing 8 into the 6 and we're able to draw off that, draw into another 2k, so our hand is looking quite nice and defensive now. Swing 7 into them, we get counter, or we get that body pretty much, and we have the Helmeppo to play into the Hibari, and we'll just swing and get rid of Miss Valentine now, just for the fun of it really. No real reason not to, because they can't get rid of it if they want to play out the Croc next turn as well. So they swing 5 into us at the start. Let's see what we do. The 1-cost event will probably be the nicest way of doing it. Just pull back either 2k, yep. So our hand is now 9k counter in hand, which is very, very good. They swing into the Barry with the Croc and we just counter that. Of course we do. We do not want to play around there. And now with that Shadow Luffy on board, our opponent is 7k and they have 9k counter for the Shadow Luffy. Or sorry, the Shadow Luffy is 9,000 power, but because we have 2 Habaris up, we can actually minus it down to 7k power, and like our whole deal is removing characters. So that's what we're feeling like doing. Oh, we only minused it by 1. I hope now we use the second Habari effect, or else that'll just be a bit silly. What's happening here? Swing 5 and 7 to get the Habari going. You may trash this card and give 1 active Don to your leader or 1 of your characters. So if we'd saved a bit more down there, we would have had like a better time of removing this, and also like basically we could have been swinging into a 4k character here rather than an 8k character. So a bit of a blunder. I'm only seeing that now, but it was good to get all those cards out of hand. So like we got 2 of their events, and now they kind of have to go all in, or else try and remove our board, I guess. And they choose to go all in, and they're doing that by using the Bond Clay to crack to get the Ripper down. They probably didn't have a Crocodile in hand, and if they did, they would have only been able to freeze 2 bodies, and we would have been able to protect the... the Koby would have went down, but we still would have had 2 swings next turn. And I'd say they don't have an event anymore since they used 2 to protect the Luffy, yeah. Us giving 2 2Ks for that 3k swing kind of means that we're saved, unless this goes through, and it doesn't. Very fortunate. If that went through there, we probably would have lost, in all fairness, because they would have then swung 10 and then swung 10, and unless we had 2 2Ks in life, which we didn't, I can't read what that last card is, we would have lost. Our opponent had 4 1Ks and a 2K. I don't know how it would have worked with their life at the end. I don't know if they were going to deck out as well. I'm not sure. From looking at it, it looks like they were going to deck out pretty soon. So yeah, it probably was the case that they had to go for the game that game, or at the end of that game. And yeah, we just kept removing things. Could have removed that Shadow Luffy, but made a slight blunder. That's whatever. Look, it happens when you're playing the game. I hope you enjoyed these games over at Black Koby. I tell you now, I recorded these 4 videos in maybe an hour and a half. Just about that. It took hardly any time to beat some of the best decks in the meta. Like I played Purple Enel, Nami, Lucy, and Black Croc, who are all decks at top regionals. And Koby's not considered a fantastic, or is not considered an S tier deck by any means, but it is it's tricky, and I think people don't expect to come up against it, and you have a lot of removal like black decks of old have. So it's really great to play, a lot of fun, and it's good to just control a board and make opponents play your own game. So thanks so much for watching. If you're still watching, appreciate it. If you leave a like, I will like that. If you don't like this video, that's okay too. Just don't leave a dislike. Absolutely not. If you want to subscribe, I post daily and I'm back into the swing of things, so I'm so happy to have you guys commenting and talking to you guys every day. So leave a comment, let's chat, and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.